Greetings and welcome back. I'm the Angrynator, and today we're going to take a look at some Cartoon Network based video games. You know, before it became Teen Titans Go channel. So let's dig right into it.
First up, we got Dexter's laboratory robot Rampage on the Game Boy Color.
I believe they made a few ones on the PS1 and the PS2 as well, but I own this one, so...
Okay, we see that the game is created by Warner Brothers, Cartoon Network obviously, and BAM Entertainment.
And this is rather interesting. Think of BAM Entertainment as better than Blast Entertainment, not quite as good as THQ, but still tolerable at some of the games, so let's try them out, shall we?
I'm using my Game Boy Color this time for nostalgia's sake. Seriously, would you believe this console still works really well? Seriously, I had a PS3 dying on me before my Game Boy Color. Okay, apparently Mandak decided to infiltrate Dexter's laboratory, and it is up to Dexter to get back some passcodes in order to stop the robots from rampaging.
Yeah, as the title suggests.
Anyway, we get to pick from 3 different suits, Robot Suit 1 and 2 and normal outfit.
And the difference is... well, looks, I assume. Imagine those overpriced $20 skins you can get nowadays. This video game included 2 of those for free. Yeah.
So we see that the game is taking place in an old building, probably Dexter's laboratory, and if you know anything about BAM Entertainment, you'll quickly realize that the game is just a reskin of their other game by the name of Elevator Action EX.
Which in all honesty is a shame, but it is a rather simple game, so what more can you expect?
Look at this tiny pea shooter, and that's our weapon. You jump by pressing A, and jump is only used to get over small gaps, it doesn't work on enemies and something like that. And you use the B button to shoot, and that's basically it. So we travel through the elevators in order to open doors to get the code. How do you open doors, you ask? Well, stand right next to them and press up. Okay, you press down. Damn! Okay, you stand next to the door and press B. Okay, you stand next to the door and press B? That's a tad unorthodox, isn't it? The hell? I pressed down this time!
Okay, here's how it fucking works. You stand next to the door and stand completely still.
Okay, the formula is like this. Get the codes while descending, beat the level, then get the codes while ascending. Oh, and also you can go inside doors that isn't marked to get a lucky shot at new weapons, which is of course randomized. So if you already got a good weapon, there's no reason to open the doors. Okay, made it to the end boss, simply called Super Robot.
But by calling Dexter's robot for Super Robot, doesn't that technically mean that Mandak acknowledges Dexter as the superior mind? Or whatever.
This is a really cheap boss. He runs and shoots faster than Silver Surfer can die in his NES game. There, beat him by utilizing the bad AI and stairs, and Mandak tells us how to get the secret code.
Which is just to play the game again with Super Robot instead, so... no thanks. Take him away.
Okay, next up we got Cartoon Network Racing, and I could sum it up rather easy. Mediocre Mario Kart clone.
But... let's take a look at it anyway.
The thing about this game that is so appealing is it got a lot of the Cartoon Network stars from the late 90s, early 2000s, such as Johnny Bravo and Courage the Cowardly Dog. But one thing I always thought was strange is that the logo of CN shown at the beginning actually showed a lot of characters not featured in the game, such as Foster's Home of Imaginary Friends, Ed, Edd n Eddy, and various others.
I know a CN logo is hardly enough to be picky about, but imagine being 10 years old again. Imagine seeing this logo only to realize that none of these characters are inside the video game. Hell, I would have loved it if Ed and Eddy was in this video game. They did, however, get their own line of video games. We could take a look at that another day.
enter the name, and there we go, and now we have single and multiplayer.
And this time I can actually tell you a bit about the multiplayer, since the day I got this on Christmas, a friend came over to play it with me, and of course I chose Johnny Bravo, because who else? And my friend, he usually stuck with Courage the Cowardly Dog or Didi.
The co-op, if you want to know, is kind of like Mario Kart Double Dash or Crash Tag Team Racing. One player controls the car while the other takes care of weapon and boosts and whatnot.
So it's rather clear to see that the second player got the most boring job. And on that regard, let's move on to single player.
We got Quick Race, which is just that, tournament which unlocks stages in cartoon elimination.
And as you might already have guessed, a lot of the more famous characters are indeed unlockables, and in order to unlock them, you have to play the game in a rather specific order.
Complete tournament a couple of times to unlock the stages in elimination, then complete elimination the 3 stages you now have, and then you unlock the characters based on that cartoon.
Simple, yet a tad too cryptic for my taste.
There is quite a lot of different stages, such as Nowhere from Courage, I Am Weasel City, Townsville, you name it. Okay, let's look at the race. I'm using Johnny and Courage combo like old times when I used to play this. Like most PS2 games, you drive by pressing X, square to brake, triangle to look in the mirror, R2 and L2 for different weapons, R1 to use missiles and other randomly picked weapons, and circle is to taunt.
Taunt really doesn't do anything, it's actually just for show.
Okay, the tournament consists of 2 regular stages themed around the cartoon, such as a haunted mansion for Courage and a farm in the middle of nowhere, then the 3rd stage is actually nowhere. And the formula is similar to Mario Kart: get the most points and win, get the best trophy ranks by ranking first on all courses, of course.
And other than that, I guess we can talk about the music.
The music is, well, rather generic. You have the most basic of music in the regular stages, and the more special theme stages just loops the theme song of that given cartoon.
Let's go!
And when you beat the tournament cups, you get elimination stages as mentioned before, while also unlocking 1 or 2 cartoon episodes based on that given cup's cartoon theme, so if you didn't want to buy the DVD collection, you could always play the game to see 1 or 2 cartoons. In all honesty, it's a lame reward, but on the other hand, I remember that the DVD collections was nowhere to be found when I got this game, and for that, it was nice to see 1 or 2 of my favorite Cartoon Network cartoons through this game.
And well, that's basically it. A word of advice though, if you ever wanted to play this game, that is, do not ever pick him from the Powerpuff Girls as a partner. He is obnoxious to listen to.
Like my new look? Just what I ordered, and in my color too! The faster, the deadlier!
Speaking of Powerpuff Girls, I also got the Powerpuff Girls Game Boy game called Bad Mojo Jojo. And this is kind of funny, since someone at either Warner Bros. Or BAM Entertainment thought, Pokemon makes 2 almost identical games each time they release them. We can do better, make this game into 3. Yeah, this game is special in that regard that there is 3 different versions: Powerpuff Girls Bad Mojo Jojo, Painted Townsville Green, and Battle Him.
Oh yeah, 3 almost identical video games. Yeah, we all know what happened last time one of those games came in here. Anyway, let's put the game in.
I actually tried my Retron 5 to play this game, but it couldn't recognize it. Nor the password system for that matter, so I decided to try out my GameCube Game Boy Player add-on.
Alright, let's play the video game.
I already beat this game as a child, so it's easy to describe. You use the D-pad or analog if you use GameCube to move in all directions. I might add you have a limited amount of X, which is what you use to fly. It replenishes once you are on the ground, making for semi-interesting gameplay, nothing new though. You use the A button to punch, and to be honest, it's really delayed.
And no, this isn't because I technically use an emulator to play the game. No, because the very same thing happened when I tried my Game Boy Color.
Anyway, as a kid you sort of adapt to the crappy controls, but as an adult you sort of see the flaws more in what is good in the game. You can use these bottles to get some chemical X to use your freeze breath.
In the other two video games, are your power-up abilities to speak Spanish and roll your tongue? Because that doesn't sound that interesting. Man, Blossom actually got the best ability to port into video games.
Well, the stages are as basic as they can get. Your house being invaded by criminals and Mojo Jojo of course in a robot suit.
And speaking of robot suits,
every stage includes a new type of boss fight until you get to the last one where every incarnation is included. Next stage is the bonsai garden from the Japanese inspired episode, I presume. Then we got the subway, and in all honesty, apart from a quick template change, they feel the same, and yeah, the game is sort of a maze, where you have to save citizens, collect jewelry and beat Mojo Jojo, and that's it. Then we got the streets of Townsville, followed by a volcano where Mojo Jojo lives. And also, if you happen to find a certain phone, either red, green or blue, you can call in the other PowerPuff girls to help you fight. And I'm unsure of how much damage they actually deal, but once we beat the final boss, we get a trading card.
Yeah, apparently the game has a card collection system you can use to trade with other people with the same video games. You know, just like Pokemon.
This game didn't get a nice reception. IGN gave it a 5 out of 10 and GameSpot gave it a measly 3.2. And I have to admit, it is boring. There's little to nothing to do in the game other than to collect gems and beat enemies. And I believe they saw too much at Pokemon's success and decided to get in on that market. So it really feels like it was supposed to be a simple beat-em-up maze-like game, but they had to cut production short since they needed some sort of Pokemon gimmick.
Because the description, trade with your friends, is what sells video games. Not, actually making a good video game.
Anyway, moving on to yet another Powerpuff Girls video game called Relish Rampage. And apparently, there's a free Sugar Babes music video inside. Whatever that is.
And this is a rather interesting game because never in my entire life have I ever heard anybody mention this video game until I recently bumped into it myself.
And it's on PS2, made yet again by BAM Entertainment. The fact that Powerpuff Girls was a decent show, if not more, that could spawn some great video games if given the time and care they needed, and as a huge Cartoon Network fan back in my days, I really hope for some awesome Cartoon Network inspired video games.
Yeah, let's just take a look at it.
The game starts up by the mayor wanting to win the election, but Mojo Jojo is running against him, so it's the battle between the dimwit idiot and the evil monkey. How is this even possible? Anyway, it seems that the mayor wants to give people free pickles to vote for him.
How are the people gonna get an honest vote? Or an honest pickle, for that matter?
This is not bribery in the least, since another mission is literally to stop the princess from bribing people to vote for Mojo Jojo.
Free money? Why didn't I think of that first?
The controls are simple enough, as simple as a game where you control 3 overpowered small girls can be. You use the analog stick to move, L1 and L2 to determine flight height. Yeah, there is 3 different levels, rather restricting, but oh well. Then we can swap the main girl with L3. And R1, the most important one, is to target enemies and stuff. Sort of like Legend of Zelda games, but way worse.
It's like comparing Highlight to the original Zelda games. You just don't do that.
R2 for speed boost, and finally you use the X to punch and square to kick. They do about the same amount of damage, so pick your favorite, I guess. Then when your chemical X meter is full, you can press the triangle to use a powerful attack, I believe.
Just like the other game, it's rather hard to know.
So after some time playing, the professor comes in to help us out with Mojo Jojo's evil plan. To use brainwashing helmets to turn the citizens into mindless monkeys that is going to vote for him.
Don't ask, it's just weird.
Consider it done, Professor!
Shit, dude, come on, get out of the way! Then the Gangrene Gang decides to help out Mojo Jojo as well, and you have to stop them and the monkeys.
Monkey!
Yeah, by now you're quickly beginning to realize that the entire game is just one big fetching quest. And yeah, that is indeed what it is. It even says on the back of the box, 30 exciting missions. Yeah, my ass is exciting. I have to do this shit 30 times? Man. Fuck that shit.
Then we finally get to Mojo Jojo, which took about 9 or 10 missions, so we can assume it's not the end. And in all honesty, this is where the game became insanely difficult. Almost Dark Souls difficult. Fuck!
Oh no!
Come on!
Oh no!
Fuck!
What? What the hell was that? Okay. I got a laser attack that even replenishes my X meter. By pressing circle. They didn't show me that anywhere, not even in the fucking manual did they show that to me. And furthermore, if I double tap the circle button, I get an ice breath that even does more damage.
And you only replenish one, the rest you have to find. So we finally beat up Mojo Jojo, the day is saved until the next episode where the pickle aliens invade Townsville.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. The stages are shown similar to that of the episode's title screens in the actual show, which I have to admit is kinda cool.
Next we have Mrs. Keen and the kindergarten kids trying to learn about pickles at the Pickle Museum. But the pickles attack and Mitch is captured and made their queen. There's a bunch of missions. The professor tries to get a hold of the situation. In fact, he actually does more in this one video game than he does in the entirety of the show.
Girls, do you read me? I have a bad feeling about those pods. I'd like you to get 3 of them for me and bring them to the Pickle Museum so I can analyze them alongside the museum's extensive pickle collection.
So, that is good, right?
We got these ships planting pods around town, destroy the ships and then destroy the pods. Before they infect people, did I mention there's a lot of timed missions?
If not, then... oh boy. There is a lot.
And finally, after about 8 missions I believe, seriously, they are so boring and tedious and it feels like 30 missions in each stage. We finally get to Mitch, the Pickle Queen.
And she is rather tough to beat, even with the lasers.
Since Mitch has a range attack that is actually way longer in your auto-target ability. And I cannot stretch out enough how freaking important this ability is, since the manual targeting is garbage. Feels like if you don't press the target button, your hit doesn't count.
It's like a Jedi without the Force, or Iron Man without his tech. It's just not good.
Finally beat up Mitch and we got to the next stage where Townsville is destroyed. And Pickles fight the mayor and the professor has been caught, and now comes that one mission that everybody loves.
Escort missions. And a lousy one at that.
Granted, we had one in the museum stage with the school bus, but that was just as terrible. You see, the AI moves on its own whether it is safe or not. They just decide to stand right in the fucking middle of all the enemies and then blame you if something goes wrong. Believe me, the only thing you can do is move so far away from the escort as possible in hope they get stuck waiting for you, then beat all the red dots on the map, and even that is rather difficult. It seems that the Pickles is winning against the PowerPuff girls and they have to ask for help from Mojo Jojo.
Help you, super do-gooders?
The irony is off the scales.
So Mojo Jojo finally agrees to help out by making pickle destructions blasters or something like that.
Now that I'm safely home, I must begin assembling my anti-pickle ray devices.
And you now have to travel inside the ship after destroying the shield, which is conveniently placed next to the ship in fact.
I don't even think it protects the actual ship, but rather some sort of thing in the middle of whatever. Who knows?
Am I the only one here that finds this very, very weird?
Beat that finally, and now the final stage inside the alien's mothership. And this is just boring really. Beat Pickles, rescue civilians, and finally get to the pickleification chamber where the mayor and the professor is being held captive. And of course, it's really limited time to get them out. So you have to hurry up. Also, you can't just break the jars, you actually have to beat up the generators.
Godzilla is approaching the generator.
Finally did that, we get the final cutscene of the Pickles leaving Earth only to get devoured by other aliens.
Yeah, when you look this much like food, that is pretty much what's going to happen.
Okay. In all honesty, I could see some people have enjoyment out of this. I mean, it's just a brainless fetching mission and some escort missions, and that's it, if you like the worst of World of Warcraft. No, not BFA, but the rather dull and uninteresting side quests like kill 10 boars or give this letter to my friend in Stormwind, then you're going to like this game. The controls are sort of clunky, although not nearly as bad as the Game Boy Color game. The fact that they don't tell you all your abilities, not even in the manual, that's just ass. The enemies are a joke. They home in on you or shoot in every direction like some sort of mental kid on too much sugar. It's insane. The story might actually be the best part. Take it for a not so good episode actually, since the graphics, while true to the show, is still rather stiff. Probably from the PS2's limitations. The PowerPuff controls the same apart from some special moves, which is sad. They could easily have done something cool with this, but nope, they didn't. Also, if you're wondering about the Sugar Babes content, good luck. Apparently you have to beat the game while having collected most if not all of the secret collectibles.
But I'm not doing that for something called Sugar Babes. No, I would rather tape my cat to my crotch and walk inside a dog pound completely naked, I might add. I'm the Angrynator turning bad video games for your entertainment.
Am I the only one here that finds this very, very weird?